Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear portal. I'm Atlas Opia, and I help people expand their interdimensional knowledge. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the process of the initiation. You may be going through a situation right now that is setting you up for a different chapter in life. Because as we know, our soul has an idea of the possible paths we can take to experience more of its power. Because that's what we're doing when we are in alignment with our soul. We're moving into careers that are more fulfilling. We're building relationships that are more invigorating. And we're finding ways to interact with ourselves and the world around us in a way that is more in alignment with the truth, which is we're an interdimensional soul having a human experience. And the human experience is not to be taken so seriously that we forget our soul, the creator of everything we're going through, placed us in this reincarnation. And as we can move our consciousness away from attachment and into the observation of our soul itself, we can realize that Earth is a game to be played. It is not a prison. It is not something we have to escape, but a world we can merge with, so we can gain new awarenesses. And even when you raise your consciousness and you're going into higher dimensional knowledge, being able to apply the higher dimensional knowledge on Earth is what's going to allow your soul to take this new change and create a ripple effect throughout all of your other reincarnations, which then give you back information and data and power. So you'll know you're going through an initiation when you feel like so much energy that has been stagnant throughout your past is now coming through to mean something big, to carry you into a portal of your own self-actualization, where you're getting closer to embodying a timeline, a path, where you're looking forward to the next day, where you're excited on what's to come next. And oftentimes our experience on Earth can be filled with confusion, resentment, misunderstanding, a lot of emotions that can create a disbalancing feeling. And the reason is because when you look at the process of what we're going through, being an interdimensional soul, having the human experience, there is a lot of different layers to consider to make sure that our consciousness is aware of everything it has to do in order for this time on this planet to be something enjoyable and powerful. And by saying those things, I'm not indicating that you should only go towards pleasure and move away from pain and be on this endless cycle where we're just going to different activities and manifestations that can give us that dopamine release. But finding value in all aspects of life, the light and the shadow, being able to appreciate ourselves even when we're not in our greatest energy. Because that happens a lot, right? We know how it feels to be very escalated. We feel that sensation in our body, and then if we're not careful, we will continuously chase that peak. So the illusion of I'm going to move into an awakening or an ascension and merge with the higher dimensions of myself so I can expand can also come from a subconscious motive to find the next band-aid for pain. And that is the opposite of what expanding your consciousness is for. It is finding a way to find a better sense of enjoyment when you're in the process of being expanded into your next level of you. So step one in understanding what to do if you're in an initiation is truly realizing that every single thing that manifests comes from a collection of different experiences that all string together to form that manifestation. And when you look at any type of manifestation in the universe, you realize that all it is energy from one dimension flowing into another dimension and onward until it reaches a point where it is at the destination this energy wants to manifest in. And what this should indicate to you is that there is a process to everything. Everything has a list of steps that it has to go through for it to actualize into that thing you're wanting to create. But at times the mind wants to know what is happening now. But the mind is a program that has been constructed based off of the information our subconscious has gathered. And how does the information come in? It comes in based on the energy we feel and the information we pick up on through our five senses as we're going through life. How we react to certain areas of life is based on the experiences we've had in those areas of life. And the ironic thing is usually the purpose, or one of the purposes you have in this reincarnation, is to take something you've struggled with greatly. And because you've had to move through the different layers it takes to understand that adversity and turn this adversity into a collection of wisdom and knowledge that can propel you forward in an entirely different area of life, your biggest shadow at times is part of what you're supposed to teach people. So the mind wants to know what's going to happen next when you're in the process of growing. But since it's programmed based on information of the past and the assumptions of the future based on what happened in the past, it cannot be useful when going in unknown territories of experience. That's why we have to really trust in our higher self. And letting go is important, but telling your mind, hey, you are part of a larger system. And in this system, there is also the higher self. You, mind, are good at using logic to put the pieces together. Once you are introduced to new energy, but finding the new energy, that job goes to the higher self, because a higher self is our connection as you're speaking to your entire system, to the entire cosmos and all the information that has or ever will exist in this universe. It is a database of all consciousness and energy. in creation. So when you can trust the process and lead with your inner child, meaning tell your mind, ooh, I wonder what's gonna happen next. I'm gonna be shocked at how this really unknown realm of life I'm moving into is going to shock me by all the blessings it's going to give me. I'm gonna be curious on how all these small pieces in my life string together for my greatest good. I'm gonna have wonder in how great can this reincarnation be. It might be greater than I ever thought it was going to be, because usually our mind can create this functionality where we use negative reinforcement to grow. So we're usually pretty hard on ourselves. So consider that, right? That's step one, is trusting the process of creation. Now, step two is looking at the process from an empowered point of view instead of a disempowered state. Feeling that you are in the hero's journey, which gives you more stability when you're tackling thoughts and emotions that make you feel off balance, because you know you have to heal certain aspects of your subconscious mind in order to quantum jump and move into the reality of yourself that is better suited for your soul's vibration, which is complete power and infinite potential. So in that moment when you're able to do that, you realize that the process you really need to merge with is letting go of the feeling that you need to be perfect. Because as we're moving forward in life, we go through a lot of experiences that create pain or trauma, and a part of our subconscious mind thinks that if I would have controlled that experience more, or if I would have done something differently, I would have changed the outcome and I would be further along than I am now. But this is defying step one, which is every single thing is a crucial piece of the larger puzzle of what you're creating. So we think perfection is going to allow us to reduce the probability that we're going to experience pain again. So once you realize that may be why you're creating perfectionism, is because there's a level of insecurity inside of you and you're using this external thing to validate yourself, when the only validation you need is to accept you are exactly where you need to be and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to in this moment. And when you can let go of the pressure of what you're supposed to do in the next month or what you're supposed to accomplish, you can allow yourself to move into a flow state while your mind lets go and your soul takes control. And you see everything as a hero's journey because you get to own the shadow you're in. You get to embrace the adversity because it's yours, it's part of your story. You're writing your story and you're the character that's experiencing the story. You're the creator and the created. Being in the hero's journey allows you to take responsibility, and that is very empowering to your state when you're fluctuating between your higher self and your body, between the universal mind and your subconscious mind. So consider that for step two. Now, step three in how to make it through an initiation, understanding this process of breakthrough and growth, is approaching uncomfortability differently. Now, for all my fire signs out there, you know what I'm talking about. And we're gonna take, some of the characteristics of fire itself and apply it to the initiation process. And it goes like this, right? When you're in a stage and the initiation is all the difficult breakthroughs, layering on top of each other simultaneously, so you can make it through a realm of change in your own consciousness where you jump in the quantum field so much because you've had to heal so many things at one time, and you've had to come into so many types of new awarenesses at one time. It layers over each other and creates this larger way of being for yourself that gets you to where you want to go. Applying fire is truly allowing yourself to know your power comes from stillness. It comes from not doing anything. Because when you're interacting with any stimuli in the external world of this matrix, your mind is remembering any previous association you've had to this stimuli, the stimulation of your five senses. And when you're always moving and doing stuff, you're in a wave of energy in a particular area of life that you've gone through, and then you're trying to correct your perception of the energy you're experiencing. So there's so much happening that it can take you away from your rawest form of power, which is you don't need something in your external world to validate the power of your soul, because your soul itself is a doorway into the entire universe. You are the universe getting to experience itself in an individualistic manner. When you think about it like that and you realize what had to happen for you to be here, you see power in everything. Because you're not just attached to the manifested, but you're exploring how does the manifested come to be. And then you're no longer attached to results, and you're more engulfed in everything. And you find your philosopher's eye, the inner child curiosity, leading the way. And you just use that strength inside of you to shoot energy out of your heart. And that creates a ripple effect through the entire world, the entire collective. It sends energy to every single soul in a human reincarnation going through a similar type of adversity you're going through. And then you feel as if you're part of this glorious adventure. The battle becomes less about how can I experience less pain and more into this adventure where pain is part of the process, and pain is this glorious thing that is able to get you to shift your awareness from a very solidified state of comfortability. You see a purpose in the shadow. And with that, you can appreciate and accept your own shadow and harness your entire power. Right? So step 4 in going through the initiation and what to do is realize that a lot of souls are coming in right now. And your soul has different reincarnations. But because Mother Earth itself is raising its vibration so it can be a more empowering addition to the galactic realms, there is more higher dimensional information coming in through souls that have had a reincarnation as a starseed, God seed, or angelic seed. And when each one of us are moving through our awakening and remembering the different aspects of who we have been, we're bringing that energy from the higher realms into Earth. And Earth is uplifting beyond this stagnant energy which it has been in for some time, because people are no longer confined to this kind of enclosed game, right? This layer of victimhood of I am in this body and I have to make the right decisions so I can have a good afterlife. And that leads one to having so much pressure on themselves and this life that they're so engulfed in the game they can't see outside of it. So then when you can see the game and move outside of it with your higher self or the reincarnations you have as different interdimensional beings, now Earth is a beautiful simulation to experience. Beautiful meaning that the technology that has to exist for this entire simulation to stay solid is impressive. That's how you can look at it. And when you're being urged to shift your consciousness and you're introduced to different ideas that might challenge your foundation of safety, it is your guides, it is your soul family coming and saying, I want to introduce you to an aspect of consciousness that is beyond what you're currently used to. So when you have those interesting experiences where you're feeling into energy from an alternate dimension, you're getting communication from an alternate dimension, you're forced to have thoughts about those things, you can remember to let go of the mind and move into the universal mind where you know what this thing is, where you remember that at a state of natural essence, you are everything. The entire universe is in you, so you are omniscient in that sense. And when you can approach it from that, you realize that, okay, I'm leveling up so I can experience a higher vibration of consciousness that is already in the universe and that I have experienced in a solidified form during a reincarnation when I was a different interdimensional being. And then you begin to remember your duties and your mission as this interdimensional being, which could include creating more empowered energy grid work in the universe. So the beings that are here to create peace and power and joy and unity in this universe can have a better foundation to stand on. Sometimes your job as this other reincarnation might be to transport interdimensional resources from one group of beings to another. Same as on Earth, you know, you find food and you bring it from a place that has it to a place that needs it. And there are many other types of tasks that this may involve. But this could be your initiation, is remembering that and learning how to apply that. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I make videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Definitely, like, comment your thoughts, your opinions, what you've gone through, and subscribe. Because the way we can truly help Earth move into a more evolved planet in this universal structure is by sharing and absorbing information that can allow us to move into a greater connection with the higher powers of this universe that we are. And if you're wondering how to make it through the initiation you're on with more grace and less disruption, consider my galactic quantum coaching. I truly am here to be a bridge between your mind and all the interesting levels of awareness you're supposed to come into during this reincarnation. And one of those things could be that you're a galactic guardian and you have this mission to help the higher dimensions. And you either want to remember or you have remembered an interdimensional reincarnation that is connected to this life. But the key is learning skill sets that can help you control, access, and operate that interdimensional reincarnation from this reincarnation you're in now. And that's what I offer in my coaching. Until next time, guys, I hope you have an amazing day. You let your inner child lead and you find joy in the small things so you don't have to continuously chase the big things. All right, bye.